Welcome to Holly's Racing Fantasy. This is your hotspot for weekly NASCAR Cup Series race recaps, latest news, and of course, fantasy picks for the upcoming race. And now, here's your host and the voice of Holly's Racing Fantasy.
Sonoma, we knew you too shortly. We bid you a fond adieu. It was actually a very interesting race at Sonoma this year, wasn't it? Can you believe how many cautions there were? How much action there was to start? Forget that. Slow down. All right. What was it? 2 laps in that Denny Hamlin left the race. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was still like wandering around getting a few things ready because how much really happens in the first couple of laps? I'm wandering around and all of a sudden Jack's like, hey, the FedEx car is smoking. And I'm like, Jack is my son. I'm like, what? And there, sure enough, I go out in the living room and there's Denny Hamlin with the smoke billowing out of his engine. And that was the end of his day. And that's crazy. Like, what do? Do you just go to your trailer and say, I'll go eat some chicken wings and watch the rest of the race on the trailer? I don't know. Now, I will tell you that when he entered the race, he was the point leader for the Cup Series. And now he is first, which I can't remember where he is. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous because they only give you so much information. He's not the points leader anymore. And he ended up 38th, obviously, and he snapped his 5 races. He's ended up top 5, which is crazy. Yeah, lap 2 he went out. So after Denny Hamlin went out, there was just caution after caution. People who spun, people who hit the wall, crashes. Not everybody was out after that. People were able to come back and continue running, but it was crazy. It was just cautions that held everybody in place. And of course, with so many cautions, then you really wind up with your pit strategy. That's when it becomes, do we pit? Do we wait? Do we hold it? Do we play the odds? And that really played a big part in how the field ended up by the end of the race. So let me break it down for you. As you know, the lineup, Joey Logano, of course, had the pole, but I don't know. I mean, even though I put him in my picks, I'm like, something doesn't look right with him. And of course it didn't. So Tyler Reddick won the first stage, which was great. I was happy for him. And I remember thinking, I can't believe Tyler Reddick is doing so well because I didn't put him in my picks because I didn't really see that much from him when I did the research. But I was like, well, whatever. Okay. And then stage 2, Chris Buescher, who was one of my bold picks this week, Chris Buescher won stage 2, and that was cool. Martin Truex Jr. was doing great. He fell behind. He got back up. Pit strategy ended up doing very well. And at the end, I thought, wow, Martin Truex Jr. is really going to come through. Can we have a second week in a row where a Cup Series driver, and I don't want to say secondary or lower level, but I don't mean a secondary. I mean a major Cup Series driver, a former champion, 2 weeks in a row. Last week it was Ryan Blaney. This week it's Martin Truex Jr. Runs out of gas. I'm confused on how that happens, although I can see how it would happen more on a road course because you've got to be really careful. It's a long way back around the pit road. But he ran out of gas and he had to Lightning McQueen it across the finish line. And he ended up in the 20s. For 27th. He ended up 27th. Poor Martin Truex Jr. But I will tell you, fastest car on that dang track was Kyle Larson all day. As much as I thought, this will be his week to take a breather. No, that guy flew through traffic. Even when he pitted at the same time as his teammates, him and Chase Elliott pitted at the same time. And Kyle Larson flew right back up there. And well, no, they didn't pit at the same time. Kyle Larson pitted a few laps before Chase. But still, only a difference of like 2 or 3 laps, and Chase had a hard time getting back up there, well, till the end. But Larson just flew. So he ended up winning. Kyle Larson wins the Sonoma Raceway, the Toyota Save Mart 350. Some of these race names I can't even remember. Let me tell you what the next race. You know what the next race is? Let me get this. Catch this. I'm gonna throw it at you. Catch it. Ready? The Iowa Corn 350, powered by ethanol, at Iowa Speedway. Now, before I get to that, let me give you the race recap. And when I watched I make my fantasy picks every week, but I don't have them in front of me when the race ends. And sometimes I remember people that I pick, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm like, I can't remember if I picked this person or not. So at the end, I thought, what a weird lineup. What a weird finish to Sonoma. And so then when I sat down today to do my picks for next week, and I was looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually did pretty good last week, because bold pick Michael McDowell came in second. Bold pick Chris Buescher came in third. Brilliant pick Chase Elliott came in fourth. And I think Ross Chastain was bold, but Ross Chastain came in fifth. So I'm like, 4 of my drivers came in, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was pretty excited about that. So hopefully if you picked any of them, you did good. Like Chase Elliott is like my permanent fantasy driver, but I actually picked him for John's fantasy this week. And I thought, oh God, I hope he really does good. So thank goodness he finished fourth. So rounding out the top 10, AJ Allmendinger finished 6th. Ryan Blaney was 7th. Tyler Reddick ended up 8th. Christopher Bell, 9th. And Todd Gilliland rounds out the top 10 at Sonoma. So it was a very, after so many cautions, 6 cautions during the first half of the race. And then it was like nothing. And I kept thinking, okay, we need a caution. We need a caution. It was smooth sailing. So we're on, we're out, we're done. That's pretty much all she wrote. When I look at these, the schedule, yes, the Iowa Corn. Now I thought last year that we raced in Iowa. I don't think we did. So I'm very miffed. My mind is not, maybe it was Idaho. I thought we raced in one of those I states, but now they've raced here before, like the Menards ARCA series, and Xfinity has raced at Iowa Speedway before, but apparently this is Cup Series first time around. So when I make my picks, you'll see that I went with a lot of people who have experience here. Now, the race is Sunday night. This is Father's Day Sunday. And happy Father's Day to all of you men out there who are fathers who listen to my show. And if you're just men and you're not fathers yet, I don't know, maybe you have a favorite dog, or maybe you have a favorite pet that you're a pet dad to. But either way, happy Father's Day, 7 p.m. So that should be fun. This is a very short track. It's not even a mile. It's 7/8 of a mile. 7/8 of a mile, I believe, a short oval track. And it should be really interesting. I almost feel like we have to go. You have to, make your picks with whoever does good in qualifying. Let me do a little quick here thing before I get on to Iowa, and I'll just do a little bit of NASCAR news. Okay, I'm going to see what there is, but a couple things to talk about. All right. When it comes to NASCAR news, what I have seen is a lot of rumors, lots of rumors, with Stewart Haas breaking up, with the 4 drivers that have to go somewhere, with the fact that Josh Berry started off having a good day and then didn't. Dale Jr. had a couple things to say about that he really didn't need that. These guys are auditioning for jobs, basically. Josh Berry, Ryan Preece, Chase Briscoe, and Noah Gragson. They're auditioning for their next ride. And there's rumors of where they could go, where they might not go. And nothing is concrete. Nothing is set in stone yet. I've seen rumors about Noah Gragson maybe going to join Kyle Busch at RCR. But I don't know how they do that unless Austin Dillon, which That's his grandfather. So I doubt they're going to kick Austin Dillon out unless they get another charter. I don't know. There's also a big brouhaha going on because Martin Truex Jr. has not announced what he's going to do next year. Is he going to stay? Is he going to retire? What's he going to do? Nobody knows. So that's kind of holding a position, because if he were to retire, then one of these kids could go race on Joe Gibbs. And I believe Kevin Harvick called that out a little bit, said that Martin Truex Jr. should make that decision or announcement so that they can get rolling with the next drivers. So, like I said, lots of rumors, not sure what's really going to happen. The nice paint schemes for Iowa, what's really cool is the 2311, which I loved this last year and I'm going to love it again. 2311 has got the McDonald's character cars. So Tyler Reddick is going to drive in the Hamburglar car, which is so cool. It's like white and black stripe and it's got the dang Hamburglar on there. That's my era. We loved those McDonald's characters. I'm dating myself. I mean, and my favorite is Grimace, and Bubba Wallace is going to have a Grimace car for the 23, which is the coolest thing on the planet because, I mean, it's cool purple color, obviously, but it's also, it's Grimace. Big Grimace head. And they got the fire suits too. They're going to have the fire suits. I'm kind of trying to scroll through here. They do them numerically. There it is. Big Grimace on the side and he's all, I love it. I'm going to be watching with, I wonder if I could get a Grimace car. That would be really cool, wouldn't it? Yeah. So the paint schemes are pretty cool this week. I mean, there's a few interesting things. I like what they're doing with the wraps. I like it. Anyway, there is, let me see if there's any other news. There's really, again, there's a lot of drivers who are still looking for those first victories. And I'm just curious to see how they're going to do this week. This could be a very aggressive race, couldn't it? On a short track like this at night. Like, do you wonder if, how that's going to go? Now, did y'all, NASCAR news, I should have said this in the race recap. I know that Ross Chastain and Kyle Busch had some, eventful racing at Sonoma. I don't know. It's the obvious. Everybody has the different idea of what happens. Chastain was like, I don't know what happened. And Busch was actually running up front, but ended up 12th. It's like, God, Kyle Busch, geez. So, who knows? Hopefully nobody will take out retribution. But let's see. After Iowa, on June 23rd, we go to New Hampshire. Can you believe it? For the lobster. And I love it. And I always hope, every time we go to New Hampshire, I always hope that Denny Hamlin will win because he's scared of lobsters. Like when he's won there in the past, he's like, and he's all like nervous and afraid of the lobster. So that brings me joy to see his cringe when the lobster comes at him. But we'll see. Let's move on to who you like and okay? Yeah, I did a really good job with that this week. Let me tell you, as you all know, my son graduated on Saturday. So we had the ceremony, we had the party, which was really, really nice because I actually had friends come down from Raleigh and I had friends come up from South Carolina, 2 different friends come up from South Carolina and a couple local people, of course. And then I had, family come from Winston-Salem, which is about a few hours away. Unfortunately, none of my New York family could make it, but they were here in the heart. They were here in the heart. And it was really a beautiful day. It was a beautiful, wonderful ceremony. It was a very nice and relaxing day. And the people who were here it was beautiful. And so that was it. That took up my entire weekend. I'm not kidding you. It's work. And then recovering on Sunday, work, clean, and I'll clean it. And then Monday, I had to take Jack to the pool. That's my son. I had to take him to the pool, which everything here where I live, folks, I'm 25 minutes away from anything, unless I'm going down to the Food Lion or the Walgreens. I'm 25 minutes away from the pool, from the hospital, from my doctors, okay. And traffic here is not fun. So I drive down to the pool, half hour down, drive back, half hour back, there for an hour. And just in time to change my clothes, I got to take John down to a scan. He had to have another CT scan on Monday. Drive down there, drive at home. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I do want to say that John is, he's feeling okay. He's uncomfortable, but he's not in pain. His prognosis, I don't want to say prognosis, his diagnosis, originally they had found a mass in his abdomen at the ER a couple weeks ago. And we've had ultrasounds and endoscopies and biopsies and lung scans and all this stuff. So it turns out that the mass is a tumor, a gastrointestinal tumor. And unfortunately, it is not a benign tumor. So, but it's okay. The beautiful blessing about all of this is even though it's there, it's on the outside of his stomach, between his liver. The beautiful thing is all of his other organs are perfectly clear. His pancreas, his spleen, his liver, his kidneys, his lungs, everything looks, the lymph nodes, it's for a bad situation, we're in a good place. Thank you, Lord. We say our prayers, you don't have to, I'm not trying to push anything on. I'm just saying we're very, and everything is good. So, but it's very surreal. It's very surreal to have the person you care about most in the world facing the big C. And, and you think, I could say, and then when you're faced with it, you're like, I can't even say the word malignant. I can't say I'm just like, gee, and it's insane. It's crazy. And you're trying to be there and you're trying to be there for them. And, but let me tell you, but the weirdest thing is now that I know all the organs are clear, I feel better. I feel better about it. We're going to see a surgeon next week. The hope is we can go in, surgery, get it out, get it done. So it's crazy. And I share this with you because I've shared all kinds of things with you guys. John and I share everything. I told you guys about pulling my teeth out, and I told you guys about his gastritis attack, which wasn't gastritis. It was a tumor that we didn't know about. And so I kind of wish, we shared about the eye doctor, and we have fun things that we share with each other. So why not share this? Now, we are hoping that next week, which the main reason that he's not here, technically he probably could talk through it, but setting up 2 cameras and syncing up the audio and the video with 2 separate cameras takes a lot of work, and that's what takes a lot out of him. And that's the only reason he's not here. Technically he could be, but it's the post-production. So next week he's going to try a new system, and we're hoping that maybe he can join next week when we recap Iowa and we look into what's going to happen in New Hampshire, at least for a while, at least until surgery. So I do want to say thank you to, I'm sorry I didn't get on Facebook. I did not ask who you like and why on Facebook. It all slipped through my brain. But I want to say thank you to Scott on YouTube because he gave me the picks either way. So, and Scott, thank you. Scott said some very nice things, very supportive things. I really appreciate the positive thoughts and energy you're sending and your support. It's awesome. So, Scott says Scott is torn. I love the thought process that goes on here, but he's going with Christopher Bell based on his overall stats on the flatter short tracks this year. But, he's also curious of maybe Larson, Hamlin, Kozlowski, and Logano. And it's funny, his sneaky picks are Josh Berry and Ty Gibbs. We think alike on these things. So, Scott, thank you for telling me who you like and I didn't even stop to say who you like and why. Wait, ready? Wait. Okay, that's who you like and why. Scott's going with Christopher Bell. Okay, so I'm going to move on to my fantasy picks because this show is actually 20 minutes already and I haven't even got to my pick. This is great. Cool. Now, I do want to say, don't forget the Iowa Corn 300 powered by Ethanol at Iowa Speedway is Sunday night, June 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be on USA. So this week we go back to the NBC folks, which Rick Allen, I can't remember, Jeb Bush, Jeb Burton. I don't know who's in the booth. Junior's not there. I'll have to look. I didn't even think about it. It went so fast. Okay, so I'm going to go with my picks now. So hold on. While fantasy sports betting can be fun, gambling can be a serious issue. If you or someone you know has a gambling addiction and wants help, call or text the National Problem Gambling Hotline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. Standard text and data rates do apply. You can also visit them online at ncpgambling.org. Okay, so again, like I said, my mind must be going. I swear that we were in Iowa, but apparently we weren't. So I'm going to give you my picks based on short track drivers. Who's good on short tracks? Who has won at this track before, either in the Craftsman or the Xfinity or the ARCA? And I may be a little bit with streaks, but I don't even know if streaks are really going to play into this. So let's go first with my brilliant picks. And that is going to be first up is William Byron. William Byron, good on the short tracks. He has one Xfinity and one Craftsman. And I feel like we haven't really heard much from William Byron. And whenever you don't hear much from William Byron, that means he's going to come back around and kick you in the butt to remind you that he's there. So that's my first pick. Second pick, Alex Bowman. He's got some good numbers on the short tracks, and he has a one Xfinity win here. And I think, I feel like he's like just on the edge of, even last week he did really well until the end. It's like that strategy. So keep your eye on him. And then last but not least, and I know this is terrible, right? This is terrible because every week, Denny Hamlin. Okay, yes, he has not raced here. Has he ever raced here? I didn't see him when I was looking it up. Maybe he has. But, okay, it doesn't need if he qualifies well, I would say. But he's had a great season so far, and he's really great on short tracks, especially Bristol and Richmond. And so I think there's no reason not to try. Can't go wrong. Here's my bold picks. Chris Buescher, got to go with him. He's good on short tracks. He's riding he's riding a streak right now. He has an Xfinity win at Iowa. Go for it. Brad Keselowski. We all know, you've seen some fire. You've seen some good things out of Brad. And he's got 3 wins in Iowa with Xfinity. And he's got some good short track experience. So I think with him coming back around, I know the last couple of years haven't been that great, but Brad Keselowski. Last but not least, and I probably should have made this person brilliant. I just did not have time. As Christopher Bell. Great on short tracks. 2 Xfinity wins in Iowa. And why is he bold? Okay, Christopher Bell really should be brilliant. We should be swapping out Alex Bowman and Christopher Bell. But I don't want to do that and confuse John when he makes up the things. So honorable mention to Chase Briscoe, because he really likes this track, and he says that he feels like this place is what put him on the map to begin with. And so I think Chase Briscoe is in my honorable mention this week. So let me recap that. Brilliant picks are Denny Hamlin, William Byron, and should be Christopher Bell, but Alex Bowman. And then the bold picks are Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, and Christopher Bell, which probably should be Alex Bowman. But you know what I mean. So you know what? It's going to be an interesting race. So let's get our popcorn and our margaritas, and we'll enjoy. We'll enjoy. Okay, those are my fantasy picks for Iowa Speedway, and I'm sticking to them. Interact with Holly's Racing Fantasy on YouTube or Facebook. Just search Holly's Racing Fantasy on each to find us. And don't forget to tell us who you like and why every Wednesday before each race. You can comment on the current HRF episode on YouTube or reply to my Monday night post on Facebook. Thanks! So, this is where I come to the end of my show. I appreciate everybody so much. I appreciate everything that you guys, that you appreciate listening. I appreciate watching. I appreciate you. I hope you all have a wonderful Father's Day and a wonderful week. By this time next week, I'm going to know a little bit more about what's going on with John and his situation. And, so continue sending out those prayers and good thoughts and vibes and all that. But again, where we were in the unknown, and the unknown is terrifying, now we're in the known. So we know, and then soon we'll be in the really know. But now it's a little, we adjust. The human mind and body. Well, the human mind is just, it's amazing. And if you work with it and you do right things, you do good things with it, you can make it happen. That sounds so ridiculous. I don't even know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You can really feel better. You can help yourself feel better if you just, positive thinking and optimism. And that's the main thing. So everybody don't, let's all be positive. And, we're going to get through this together. Because you guys are there and I'm here. I'm here for you because you're here for me. So I want everybody to have a good week. We're going to see you again next week. And stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, and race on.